Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're talking about the Old World map again. I know, it's like the third time this year so far, but there's been yet another update and I think it's actually quite important to talk about. So first things first, this is like the least important, well it's still actually quite important, but you know what I mean. We've got the High Elf icons appearing there. There are 5 icons kind of representing all the new factions in a sense. They're active around the Sea of Claws, around the Badlands too, because you know they're keeping an eye on the Orcs, they're also keeping an eye on the Dwarfs. There's a lot of clickable icons that are popping up there, and it's kind of nice to see. Loads of iconography that you can remember, like the Lothan one, which is in Tor Arnok. That's the typical paint scheme that a lot of people remember when it comes to the High Elves. So yeah, it's nice that we've got that there. It's a bit of a shame that we aren't seeing Orthwan yet. I will state that here. You know, it would have been nice to get a little bit of insight there, but I guess it's still too early, and we do know that the High Elves in the current Arcane Journal are moving into the Old World. One is hunting down the Beastmen, and the other one's just kind of like moving around there. So yeah, makes sense. This is where some changes come into effect, because the last time that we had a map update, we did see the introduction of a lot of different icons in Estalia and in Talia. Now, they're still here. The map got removed for like a few days. It's back, but a bunch of the icons are missing. So there's a lot of speculation popping out on the Reddit and so on, some outright like confirming some things here and there, I think, because there was a bit of potential drama. I don't want to talk about that because we don't know if it's exactly true or not, but yeah, icons are missing, mostly in like the southern tip of Estalia. I think right next to Bilbali too, there was supposed to be another one. I think there's one missing in the Talian regions, but other than that, we still have all like the main city-states that people knew. So Bilbali, Margarita, those are stallions. Tobaro is there. That's part of Talia. Keep that in mind. Remas is there. Lucini is there. And like 2 others there. Actually, 3 others. So Talia is still kind of full. I mean, it's pretty interesting that the icons... Well, the map was flat out removed and some stuff was changed. I am still holding out hope that the Dogs of War is still going to be a thing, alongside those hypothetical rumors that are popping around saying, oh yeah, you know, Estalia, Talia might have their own proper armies in the future because they're kind of active during the Great War Against Chaos, which yes, they do send mercenaries up there, though that would have been more of a Dogs of War thing. Then we have to look towards the fact that the Old World rulebook has a specific section there for the lore where it comes to the Southern Kingdoms, so I mean, it would be nice. We have seen lore changes for Talia and Estalia very recently for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. As we are aware, Games Workshop talk very, very closely to the people at Cubicle 7. I have an interview with C7 regarding the Old World RPG, and they've been told specifically, you know, make sure that the Beastmen are active and so on. Again, if something like this were to happen, it could be for the near future, you never know. Right now, I think a lot of people are just looking towards the Beastmen, the Wood Elves, and obviously the High Elves, which are coming out in about 2 weeks' time, and Grand Cafe. So I think that's what's in everyone's mind, mine too. I'm more concerned about Cafe than I am about any potential Estalia and Talia race, because that might be something that we might see in the future, either in the next year, because they'll need to have something there unless Kislev comes next year, which I kind of doubt, or sometime during 2nd edition where, you know, they'll want to have a lot of money coming in because all the core factions are already up and about when it comes to just like the major stuff from the 1st and 2nd year. Either way, it's super curious to see stuff happen. You know, it was a big map update, then everything disappeared, and then this happened again. The map has been disappearing a lot lately. It's it's just very, very odd. Now, there's actually something else, too. I don't think a lot of people have noticed this. So something really, really curious here is that the Darklands have been filled out a little bit more. There's a little bit more detail. They've started adding in some more locations of interest. They've got Crookback Mountain in now. These weren't here in the previous iteration, even like the past map update, because thankfully, before the map was taken down, a member of my community, Tobias, thank you Tobias by the way, had actually taken pictures so we could get a proper map, because the problem is you can't really see the full-scale map even when you zoom out. So yeah, it's actually kind of interesting to see the areas being added in. There's nothing clickable as far as I can see, but they've added in, say for example, the Demon Stump. That's there, the Sentinels. It's really, really curious to see all of the Darklands being added in. I don't think that we'll see any icons there. I don't know, it could be possible, considering that obviously the vampire accounts do have icons there with the Lord Harkin one. It's I don't know. I don't think that this means that we're going to see the Chaos Dwarfs anytime soon. It could be possible down the line when the AOS ones come out. They might just put some icons knowing full well that people will buy AOS Chaos Dwarfs if they're the same size to be able to use them in Old World. I would do that myself. I mean, in a perfect world, Games Workshop would go, hey, we're going to re-release the Temicon stuff in resin, and there you go. But I don't imagine that the Chaos Dwarfs will be important to the story until a little bit closer to the actual Great War, with the whole Siege of Prague and stuff like that. So I wouldn't expect them being one of the legacy races that are going to come back first, if they ever do. And there have been rumors of vampire counts coming back. I mean, it's pretty much hinted on the world map anyway. Now, this might have been noticeable before, but I've only just noticed it now. You can see that this map is fully modular. If you zoom out, you can actually see lines. I don't think that was actually very noticeable prior, so that does actually mean all the fixes that we're seeing, in and out. They're not having to, redo the map. It's not just one massive, PSD for, Photoshop, and then just turning on icons and off. It's just, here's a square, remove that, put that in, which is really good, because if they update the story as time progresses, we can see a lot more new icons popping up. It's actually what we've been seeing when they've been adding races and so on, but I think it's a little bit of an interesting note, because a few things have changed because of that, not only just the icons here. So you might have remembered here, there was a hard cutoff which could have been linking up to Grand Cafe. Well, that's gone now, which is actually kind of interesting, because I guess they're waiting until Cafe shows up. The fact is that this map is going to have to extend quite far to the east, because we're going to have to see the map of Cafe, and we don't know the full orientation of the map. It does look like the actual Northern Chaos Waste might be a bit larger than they used to be. But we have seen parts of Cafe's map before during the Warhammer 3 launch, actually. They started posting articles with a few different icons, which is nice, and I can't wait to see this full map. I do hope that even if some of the races from Legacy don't come back as playable, like with their own army book or a Ravening Horde style book or whatever, I do hope that we get the full world. I would love to see as much of the Warhammer Fantasy world mapped out properly now in a, more modern aspect. I'd love to see what it's supposed to look like in this day and age. As always, this could be a nothing burger, but I do feel like it's kind of important to talk about, considering that it is getting consistent updates. It's kind of sporadic every now and then, but it's nice to see all these icons pop up, especially as soon we should start seeing the icons change for the Wood Elves and obviously the Beastmen stuff. They're actually quite different, and we know that the Beastmen are next. I can't wait to see more and more factions pop up. Kislev eventually should be a bit more fleshed out and clickable, whenever Kislev actually happens, but the context is definitely quite important. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion, because I do like the theories about what's happening, especially with the maps. I subscribe to the theory that we will potentially start seeing, as stuff moves on with the old world, some legacy factions returning in one way, shape or form. I don't imagine we'll get a Vampire Counts book, but I can imagine that we could get a book centered around Vampire Counts, if you get what I mean. Just going like the whole Storm of Chaos situation. Or maybe they just bring them back. The Soulblight Grave Lords seem to be phasing out the Black Knights and the Grave Guard for the new units, which look pretty much, they look like an updated version, but they have different names. So with those types of things, it's looking likely. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.